Alright guys, we're going to go through a quick tutorial about how to find a part in inventory. If you find yourself out in the mail needing a part, the easiest way you're going to be able to go about finding that part in Emaint is by the part number listed on the equipment. Here it's right there. These are the numbers that we use to stock the item here in the warehouse. That number will be written on the part if it is in fact a stock part out there on the equipment. If it's rubbed off, or if you've got some other extenuating circumstances, we can go through how to find it otherwise. But the easiest way is going to be that part number right there that's written on there by the warehouse staff. So if we had this belt and it broke, and that number were listed somewhere written on the belt out there in the mill, so you know the number that we've given it, the way you would search for it is to come under inventory. You'll search by item number. Now, if you don't have an item number, we'll get to that here in a second, where we can find you the part. It's going to be a few more hoops to jump through, but if you do have the item number, you can search. Item number, contains, always do contains, because these fields can exclude what you actually look for. And then we type in the item number here, 29775. All right, and there's our BX83 cogged belt, item number 29775. We'll come down here. Where is it in the warehouse? It's on the belt wall, which will be on the south side wall. We'll also go over some quick locations here later in the video. But that's how we would find it if we had an item number. If we didn't, we're going to have to jump through a couple more hoops, and I'll go over that now. So say we've got this belt out there, no item number, but all the equipment out there, no matter what, has data, whether it be with a data plate or listed from the manufacturer or what have you. So say we don't have this part number. What we do have, if we take a close look at this belt here, is data. On it, the belt itself, we look here and it's a BX83. Say that's all we got to go on. We don't have an item number. We're still going to find this listed in inventory, but it might take us a little longer. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come over here to menu, go down to inventory. Instead of searching by item number, we're going to search the description. This is the way we have this labeled in our system for us here in the warehouse. We're going to go to description, contains, and we see that that's a BX83, if it'll focus. BX83, we'll type that in, BX83, and we will list the matches. So we're going description, contains, BX83. Belt drive, BX83 cogged. That's it. Also, when you look up the item, not only will it tell you where it's at, the location is the belt wall, it will tell you how many we have on hand. So currently, if they're signed out the way they're supposed to be, we have 12 on hand. Really important that you sign your parts out, guys, because if you don't, then we got no way to find it, or we got no way to know when we need to reorder, and then we'll be in a bind, and you'll be in a bind too. So that's how we do that. There are a couple other ways you can search inventory instead of just doing by description, so don't get discouraged if you don't find it based on the data you put in there. Try it a couple different ways, like BX83 belt, BX83. You can also search based on the manufacturer part number. If it didn't come up under the description, that manufacturer part number, there's a chance that you could type that BX83, and if that belt was entered in that way in the system, it'll pull up that way too. This particular part, it doesn't have it there, but that's just another way that you can search. So that's how you look for a part in inventory. We'll go over a quick tutorial of what's in the warehouse and where you'll find it. Another little quick tip on searching by data. I mentioned the data was listed on the belt. There's also data listed on gearboxes, motors, pretty much everything we use here, listed on what's called a data plate. Now, all the information listed here you can use to search in that system to try and find this particular, this is a gearbox, through the description. In the description you can type pieces of this product ID, serial number. You could search Sutimo, the manufacturer, the horsepower, gear ratio, output, or model number. Now, the model number is probably the most useful out of all these. I wouldn't type that whole long model number in there, because if you do, it's going to exclude it if it got typed in with an extra space, or somebody didn't put the little spacer there. The way I would do it is just pick a chunk of this text, like 6165 DC. I would type that in and search it, and see if anything pops up. And I would do that with CHH, M3, 165, all that stuff, just to try and kickstart the system to find that particular piece of equipment that I needed. I'm going to go over a quick little map, and this is going to take a while because the warehouse is huge, but I'm going to go over quick little segments of where certain parts can be found, how they're labeled, and when you see a location in the system, you'll be able to come out here and find it pretty quick. This first area is the cylinders rack. It's not all just cylinders and clevises. There's some other components here, but if you'll look at the racks, if you were to see a location that said cylinder 2, pallet 1, that would be here. Cylinder 1, pallet 1 would be here. Those are labeled based on, this is cylinder 1, pallet 1 at the very bottom floor. Cylinder 2, which would be the second shelf, pallet 1. Cylinder 3, pallet 1, so on and so forth. So all the cylinders will be in this first section along this first shelf for the most part, unless they're for a specific piece of equipment, in which case they'll be at that area for that piece of equipment. So next is the start of the west wall. That's all the stuff along the far left side when you've got your back to the gated door. The west wall is labeled the same way as the cylinders rack. You've got west wall 1, pallet 1, west wall 2, which will be the second shelf up, pallet 1, west wall 3, so on and so forth. But looking at this, all the parts that are labeled west wall will be all the way down this side. We do have the chain rack down here, which I'll get to here shortly. This is a standalone sprocket rack at the end of the cylinders. Sprocket 1, pallet 1, sprocket 2, pallet 2. There's that. As we move down, opposite the west wall, here we have the start of 2 racks of chain. These are going to be larger chains, like pusher chains, lug chains. There's some smaller stuff here, but these are called the P-chain rack. So this rack is west wall 1. We went over that. This is west wall 2. 2 refers to which shelf in the sequence, laterally instead of horizontally, that it's in. This is west wall 2. This is going to be your chain links, your gib screws, some planer knives and things of that nature. All right, over here down from our 2 large chain racks are our comb parts. These are labeled comb 1, pallet 1, so on and so forth. Delineates the shelf that it's on and which rack. So there's those 2 racks dedicated to comb parts. Moving down the west wall from the chain links and stuff that we just went over, these are the standard chains that we keep. You'll have your 81X, your 81XH, all those, and these will be labeled chain locations. Down from your comb parts will be your motors. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shelves of nothing but motors. They'll be labeled motor and a pallet. These don't have delineations like the others. It's just which pallet's on, and it counts on down the line. Down from our chain, we have our west wall 4 shelves. There's those. Down from west wall 4 is west wall 5. It's the last set of shelves you'll meet before the gearboxes. And gearboxes, unless they're on a specific piece of equipment where they're contained, like at the edger or the gang or something of that nature, will be here in the GB locations. GB stands for gearbox. It'll be gearbox, and then it'll delineate a pallet. So we've gone over the gearboxes, the motors, the west wall, the chain, the cone parts, everything going down here. Now we're going to move over to this side. Now, if you need a sprocket, it's going to be over here behind the cone parts, the big sprocket rack we talked about earlier, and the big chain racks. All the way down here to about there is where you'll find the sprockets. They're all going to be in some delineation of A1, A1, A5, A1-6, which is the 6th shelf, A1-5, which is the 5th shelf, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, so on and so forth. And they'll have specific numbered locations as you come down the shelf. Now the sprockets are all A1, and again, that A1 designation is this is the first set of shelves in A. You got another rack of shelves for A here. Every time you have a gap, you have a new shelf delineation. So this is A1, this is A2, that's A3, that's A4. It works the same way. We got A, B, C, and D over there on the far wall. Just to give you a good visual, A, B, C, on the back side of C there is the D rack, and then these over here are E. So we went over A1, that's the sprockets. A2 is going to be a lot of your bearings here. Again, they're gonna list the, since this is A2, sprockets A1, this is A2, this is the 5th shelf and the 45th section of that shelf. This is A3, more sprockets in the lag, right down from A2. This is A4. A4, you're gonna start off with a bunch of sprockets here, or not sprockets, sorry, bearings. Now, that's A4. Then we have a gap here. There's nothing here. Now, just imagine this shelf isn't there. It's used as a spacer between A4 and A5. A5, all planer parts. Everything you see here is going to go with the planer mill. You're not going to find anything for the green end in A5. Here we have B1. It's going to have a lot of spherical bearings, some other odds and ends, but B1 will be the first shelf back here behind this wall. B2, skip a gap from B1, B2. Come all down through here. It has bushings, lock collars, things of that nature. B3, again, more bushings. We'll go to B4. This is where you're going to find your flexitolic gaskets, some keel components, orifice traps. But you'll have those, more flexitolic gaskets, even bigger. Then we've got A5, which A5 looks like electrical components. This looks like a fairly mismatched set of things, but that's A5. So on the back side of B, we'll have C. Again, shelves divided up. C1 will be everything up to the first gap. Bunch of older parts here for the most part. Some pulleys, some lugs for the trimmer, some older sprockets, crevices, things like that. Just a mixed array. You've got some elements here, just different stuff really. C2 is gonna be more like Mac valves and things of that nature. When you're looking here, B, C1, C2 is where the shelf changes over there. Then you've got a gap to C3. Okay, ignore the C2 to C3 gap. There really isn't anything on C3 or anything farther down. It really starts over at D there. Here we have D1 down to the gap, D2, so on. Here's E. This will be brake fluid, valves, crevices, parts for hooks, things like that. This is the belt wall. Majority of the time, if you're needing a belt, it'll be somewhere on this wall. There are identifiers that tell you what type of belts are in what spots, but the best way to check is by the part number listed on the belt, the box, or look at the data on the belt. Here we have D2, pretty much exclusively airbags. There's a couple little odds and ends down through here, older parts, but that's D2. D3, you got some mismatched components here, valves, steel wear plates, all thread, some crevices, and some UHMW wear components, tipples, things like that. Over here at E2, you've got a bunch of oil filters and different things of that nature. So we've got our belt wall back there, yes, with all those on there. But if you're needing a larger belt, chances are you're going to find those here in D4. We got D1, D2, D3. D4 starts right here with these cream colored shells. All your larger belts are going to be either located at D4 here or E3 opposite side, but that's where you'll find all those. E3 is also going to have some tipple arms and things down here on the other end of these belts, some USNR components, small ones, plastic bushings, things like that. Back here in what we call the cage area, it's pretty self-explanatory. These parts get ransacked a lot and they don't sign them out, but if it's here and the location is edger, hurdle, chipper, trimmer, line bar, gang saw, carriage, the parts will be here, and they're all listed like carriage. Carriage 4 would be there, carriage 5, carriage 6, carriage 2, so on and so forth. The same with all these other areas. But if you need something out of the cage and the parts just listed with a name of a piece of equipment and then a shelf number, this is where you'll find it. This is all green end supply. Just above our sprockets on A1, we've got our flammable liquids cabinet. And we've got our tool cabinet. They'll call this one the gray cabinet. Location will be GC, some variant for these three. Anything in these will be listed fire cabinet, fire cab, some variation. One of 3 areas we've got left. Most of these components are going to be listed as warehouse manager. But these are going to be kill components. Those are all going to be planer mill components. These are going to be various odds and ends, various odds and ends, various odds and ends. But if you see a location that says warehouse manager, this will be the room that you go in. This is right off the conference room. At the back of the warehouse here, we have the electrical room. If you come across a part that's located ER, we've got ER, I, J, K, L, N, O, P, Q. Most of these, well, all these are for the electricians. Strapper parts, various lengths of wire, and other things for their functions. And going down from the electric room, we have the electric shop location. And like the shelves outside, these shelves have number delineations that'll help you find that. So if it's E shop and it's got a listed location, it'll be on one of these shelves. If it's E shop floor, it'll be in here. And these have various shelf delineations on each one of them as well to help you find it. So that's it.